on Route 66.
Hey, on Route 66. Hi. Oh my! Wait, we're in person.
We are in person, and I am dressed for the occasion.
Oh my gosh!
I have never bought a piece of clothing so fast in my entire life, Michael. My husband and I walked into your concert, which we're going to talk about.
Oh my
We have a lot to talk about. But we walked into your concert, and there in the lobby was this shirt with your face on it. And we made a beeline, and it was like before I knew it, it was on my body. I've never been so happy to buy a T-shirt.
I'm like, oh my gosh! That is like I'm so close up and closer to it. Wow.
I know,
Okay.
I know.
Well, that's very kind, and I'm very honored that you are wearing my T-shirt.
We're gonna get into it, though. We're gonna get into it. I think we start the episode,
Oh,
though.
let's do it. Oh my! Wait, we're in person.
We're in person.
Oh my
Yay!
gosh! I can I'm
it
like,
feels
hi.
so right. And I
It
can
does.
officially put our.
That's amazing.
So okay,
Oh my gosh. All right, let's do it.
we're
Let's get
still
in.
working on the decor.
We're still working on decor, but we are here in person. So
Yes.
let's do this.
All right. Hi, I'm Ashley Eckstein,
I'm Michael James Scott.
and welcome
To
HypeFriend. Michael, cheers.
Cheers.
To being in person.
It's so good to see you in
I
person.
know.
What you drinking?
So you are getting me to like sparkling water. I never thought I would like it.
I did not think I was gonna like it either, but
know.
I lived in Australia for like 19 months, and it's like a big thing there. And they would say like, "Gas? Do you want water with gas?" Like, and I was like, "Huh?" And it's like,
No, I don't want extra gas.
I don't want extra gas. But I'm like, oh right, like sparkling water. And then I became obsessed with it, and now I'm obsessed with it. And this is strawberry. So
Well, I have black cherry, and I have it in my house for when you come over. And the other day,
lots of it.
I know. And the other day I was like, I want something different to drink. And I was like, all right, Michael says it's good. I'm going to try it. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
I really do. I feel like that's like a hot point, like a hot button point. Like some people like love sparkling water, or some people just don't. Like it's like a thing.
Yeah.
But I have, it's also been good to like get rid of that and not drink soda.
Yes.
So like my husband was like, he's like, think about it being like, it has the sensation of the carbonation of a soda, but like it's not a soda. So so that mindset helped me. So I mean,
Okay.
I digress because
Okay.
we went into a full conversation about sparkling water.
That's what we do here. That's what we do here. But you know what? That's part of friendship. It's
It
like
is.
you chat about nothing sometimes, but it's really important stuff.
Yes. I'm still
Which-
dying at you, like in my shirt. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Well, okay. I have to be vulnerable for a second. I am wearing no makeup at all.
Well,
Like none.
you
but
still look amazing. So.
Thank you. But back when we met in high school,
Yes.
when we established our hype friendship in 1996, HypeFriend
96.
established 1996. I had a real fear about leaving the house without makeup. I wouldn't do it because I had acne and I just didn't feel pretty, and I literally, it was one of my greatest fears. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten over that fear.
Yeah.
I post on Instagram with no makeup.
Yeah.
I go to the grocery store, run errands without makeup. Actually, when I don't have to wear makeup, it's a big day. But honestly, the thought of doing a HypeFriend episode without any makeup on, I terrified me. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. But I had an allergic reaction to some makeup, some new makeup, and it's almost better.
Yeah.
But the doctor was like, "Hey, if you don't have to wear makeup, you really shouldn't. Like, let your skin just air out." And so it's almost better, but see, you can still see a little redness. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna normalize not wearing makeup, because I bet there's a high school girl that's out there like I was that is terrified of walking out the door without makeup, and so I'm gonna be brave and do a HypeFriend episode with no makeup. with a skin rash.
Well,
But hey, here we are.
Well, that is very relatable to a lot of people.
Yes.
So we all have blemishes and all that. I also don't
Yes.
like leaving home without makeup.
I know you're always posting about your skin.
I'm like, oh my god, well, because it's a thing, and there's a
It's a
lot of makeup
thing.
going on, like trying to keep it all together and breakouts and all that, and you just get self-conscious about it and all the things,
Yes.
right? So that's very relatable to a lot of people, and you doing that is, I think, well, actually, I think empower a lot of people, a lot of our community out there to do the same. So
Yeah, I mean, we're all in this together.
Yes.
You know, it's like I love the unfiltered world that, like, you know, we're getting more comfortable to live in. And actually, I was inspired by my goddaughter, who is in high school. She's a freshman in high school.
yes,
And she was telling me how now it's not cool to wear a face full of makeup, that she just wears like a tinted moisturizer, maybe a little bit of Vaseline, you know, that the glowy, dewy look is totally in, all natural. And so I was like, oh my goodness, well, if my goddaughter Peyton can do it, then I can do it.
Ashley, I was just like, it was just up on, there was like a social media thing about the fact that imperfect is in, like
Yes.
not perfect is in, and that's the thing, and that is, which is so, like, what a complete change on so many levels. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, from where we've come from and where we still go as a society and all those things. And P.S., it ties very much into friendship in terms
Yes.
of, like, you know, feeling imperfect and all the things, and then not having it feeling like you can go and talk to someone or make friends because you feel bad about yourself and all the things, right?
Yep.
So it's such a tie-in on so many levels.
Well, and to me, that's a sign of like when a friendship becomes real, is when you can just genuinely be yourself with someone
Yep.
with no makeup on, in your sweats. I mean, you were just chatting with me in my bathroom. You know, I was getting ready, and you know, my husband and I were getting ready to leave for a trip, and our bedroom and bathroom is just atrocious. Like, it looks like a tornado went off. But you know, that's when it's real friendship, is when you
Yes.
can just be yourself.
Absolutely. And I loved every minute of it.
Okay. Well, Michael, I think that brings us to Ashley Bakes.
Ooh, I haven't done this in person.
I know. I'm very
Ashley
excited.
Bakes!
Okay.
Wait, what do you have today?
Okay. So speaking of, you know, just being real with your friends,
Yes.
you know, I expect honesty, Michael.
Yeah. Yes. Uh-huh.
And I was working hard this morning, because, okay, let me set up the situation. I need to redeem pudding. I've already had a fail. I've burned it.
Oh, okay.
I want to find the perfect gluten-free vegan pudding recipe. And also, I know that pudding's not your favorite, but I genuinely want to, like, make you like it.
It definitely scares me. There's definitely a pudding fear.
I didn't know it was a fear.
No, it's not a pudding fear. but I'm being very dramatic. However, it does scare me sometimes because it shakes. Do you know what I mean? It's like jiggles.
Well, this isn't jiggling, so we'll see. But okay, so I tried.
It's very pretty. It's very cute.
I added something to it. So, do you like lemon?
I do. I do like lemon.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. So this is a lemon pudding lemon cookie parfait that's vegan and gluten-free.
Did you hear that, like, quietness? There was like a quietness. with that.
So, you know,
Lemon
lemon pudding with a lemon
with a-
cookie parfait.
Perfect. Okay. Here we
Okay.
go.
Oh, the texture's
It's a-
already a little better.
But like that noise just now, it was like
There was a
was like-
suction.
there was a suction noise. The suction noise is what scares me. Like,
So I haven't tried this yet. I'm just gonna warn you, I haven't tried it. It smelled good, but I haven't tried it.
It smelled good when I walked in this house. So I'm okay. Here we go. Mm, mm, mm. Hold on. Why do I start sweat every time I dance? You know what? Ashley Eckstein. Honestly, I am not mad.
You're not mad?
I am not mad. I am not mad.
No way.
I'm not mad.
It's a little, it's tart.
There's-
That's why I snorted. Because I took a bite and I was like, "Bleh."
There's definitely
It's
a
tart.
It's tart. However, I'm not mad at the consistency of it, and I am not.
No freaking way. There's a pudding that you like?
I really like it.
Wow.
Like, I actually think it's great.
Wow.
Ashley baked.
Oh my gosh.
It's great. It's great.
That just like made my day. Like, you have no idea.
I'm being very honest with you. I was scared. We were scared.
I
in the
was
beginning.
scared.
It was a tough road getting there, but I am really. I'm going in for another. Like it's.
Wow.
Oh, but like
Wow.
Okay.
You know what? I have to say, the consistency last time was troubling. It was troubling. You know what I did? Because that's the thing with a recipe, it's trial and error. And the recipe before called for 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. And I was like, that was a bit much last time. So I did 4 teaspoons of cornstarch, and I think that was it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I love it. I actually
Okay.
love it, and I think the lemon really, really brought out. And I feel like we have found
Wow.
Ashley Eckstein's drag name. Are we ready for it? I think it's Lemon Love Eckstein.
No! That's so good! That's so good!
Ashley's drag name, ladies and gentlemen, is Lemon Love.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to tell Nina West.
Nina is gonna die. Oh my gosh. That's your new, oh yeah, that's it.
Lemon Love.
Lemon Love Eckstein.
I have never been so happy with the name. I'm just envisioning my outfit with sequins and sparkles
and yellow all over it.
oh.
Yes. Oh yes. Lemon Love, honey.
Oh my gosh. Cheers
Cheers.
to Lemon Love. It started here with my lemon.
Oh God. Oh
Okay.
my God. All right, so
Well,
speaking of love, lots of love, I have to hype up the love that has come from, because we're going into hypes and gripes. There's been a lot of love lately. I'm very blessed with a lot of love around me, and I'm very conscious of that, right?
Mhm.
But so I have to call it out. But the hypes of it right now into our hype and gripe as we move into hypes and gripes, hypes and gripes, hypes and gripes, hypes and gripes. I'll work on that one.
it was good. It was good.
But I'm just gonna start by, it immediately just made me think of like just hyping up the love that to me has been such an amazing thing. So thank you for all the love. Like there's been a lot of love.
Well, it's just getting started because I'm kicking off hypes and gripes by literally hyping you up so hard. Okay, so my family and I went to Michael's concert. Solo concert with the Orlando Philharmonic.
Yes.
In Orlando, Florida, at the Dr. Phillips Center, which is our big theater.
Yes.
It's where all the Broadway touring shows come. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And as I mentioned, we walk in and there's Michael's face staring at us on T-shirts. But we go in and Michael, the first song you have a children's Well, they were
Yes,
high schoolers,
yes.
but what chorus?
The Orange County Schools all county choir joined for the concert.
So they're behind you with the orchestra, and you come out and you take us to church. And this opening song that literally brought the house down. And I just started bawling, like just bawling with like the biggest happy tears, because not only were you amazing, but then I was looking at those kids, you know, those high school kids singing, and I was just imagining me and you
Mm-hmm.
in high school
Mm-hmm.
being in that chorus.
Yeah.
You know, what an honor and privilege it would have been for us to be a part of that concert.
Yeah.
And them watching you, you know, being like, one day maybe I can be like him. And that was us. And it was just a dream coming full circle. And I cried throughout the whole concert. I was so proud of you.
Thank you. That's
Like-
very. What's so crazy, and you know, because we talked about this, like we literally are those kids. Like we are the product of all county choirs and show
Yes.
choirs and theater departments and all the things, and the community aspect of young kids around Orlando, at least for us in our community where we grew up. But the most amazing thing for me, thinking about it, was exactly what you said, was the fact that it was something that would have been a dream of mine when I was that age, looking out, you know, into this gorgeous theater and thinking about, you know, oh wow, is that like that? It's possible to maybe do something like that, and to be able to turn around and see their young faces like full of just, you know, excitement and wonder, was just was really, really a blessing. And P.S. I found Ashley and her husband during the crazy thing is, I did not know where they were seated until there's a certain moment during the show where I did a whole 90s medley, and I sang Spice Girls Wannabe. And
It was brilliant.
And literally, the lyric, "Friendship never ends." I literally found Ashley,
Yes.
locked eyes with her during the word friendship. True.
No joke.
Like,
True story.
it was the
True story.
craziest thing. And I literally, I think I was like, "Friendship never ends." Like, I literally was just like pointing at you and David. Like,
It was straight out of a movie.
it was so crazy.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So yes, I'm yeah. Thank you for being there. Thank y'all.
We
Thank you
would
for being
not
there.
miss it. We would not miss it. And one thing I want to hype up, I want to bring up, you know, obviously you sounded amazing. Like, you sang your face off.
Thank you.
You sounded amazing. You looked amazing. I mean, your outfits were just, it was a full out fashion show.
Thank you.
It was amazing.
Amazing folks. Andrew McLean, who is an
Yes.
amazing designer, who was the winner of the very first Her Universe fashion show. I mean, literally, it's like years
Yes.
ago, and he ended up hiring him, and he designed two beautiful looks for me, which was so awesome. So I had him and some other designers, Mayor in Canada, and then also Bruce Glenn. But yes, so another friend hyping up.
Well, I'm not done hyping you up real quick, because I want you to know this was actually my takeaway, and my entire family, this was our takeaway. Now, I know you because, you know, obviously we've talked about it here. We've reconnected after all these years. We've been friends since high school. You are the same person. From high school, you have the same heart, you have the same joy, you have the same sparkle. But my mother-in-law, who doesn't know you very well, she said, she goes, "Tell Michael how genuine he was. And you were so real and genuine. And you took us on a journey, and you showed us your heart. You opened up your heart. And that's one thing. As I've gotten older, I've realized the power of being genuine. And, you know, you had the entire audience captivated, and not just because your voice, not just because your fashion, but because of your heart and your, how genuinely we believed you, that it's like, you're taking us to church. You made your dreams come true. We can make our dreams come true too. And all those kids in that choir, I promise you, they left that concert being like, you know, ready to conquer the world. And so that is your superpower. You are genuine, and it just radiates off of you. So I wanted to hype that up.
Thank you, Ashley Eckstein, Fran. That's very kind, and I'm taking that in. Thank you. It's, you know, it's sometimes hard to. There's like the Michael James Scott, who was like the sort of like out, like, you know, big and all the things, and it's important to have those quieter moments in terms of just like really trying to be expose, you know, yourself in terms of your heart and what you're feeling and what you're going through, and really just like letting it out there, which is a huge part of my husband, who was my director, who I'm also hyping up, and wrote the script in terms of like what the dialogue and all of that. And it was he was like, you must be open. You must let them in, and you must be able to just let go and be yourself. And in that, he was like, and even though there will be, you know, 2,000 people in front of you, he was like, you've gotta let them in. So it was a big, in an amazing way, a really great learning experience in terms of how to do that, you know, with a big group. I think you do that really well when you're on panels, when you're talking even to you know, to your followers on social media, and in terms of just like letting people in. And you know, we learned from that. We learned from you letting people in. And so doing that on the stage was, you know, it's not easy. It's actually harder for me than I think people maybe realize. And so I wanted to, you know, be uncomfortable in certain, allowing myself to be uncomfortable, but breathing through that and living through that. So,
well, let me tell you what, it was a massive theater, like massive theater. Every seat was full, but I felt like I was in your living room or at your church, like you said. You know,
Yes.
we came to the church of Michael James Scott, and I just felt like we were just sitting there in a small congregation, having a one-on-one chat with you.
Yeah.
And shout out to your husband Jeremy, director of the show.
Yes.
It was amazing. And, you know, like me and my husband David, you and your husband Jeremy, you know, it just worked so well together. And it was just an incredible accomplishment, and one that I know you've been working on for a very long time.
Yes, thank you. We have. Thank you so much. Really, it was amazing. It's a big hype, and
it's a big hype.
You. Now there's a big gripe too in that. It actually kind of connects to
okay.
It. And the big gripe for me was the fact that I didn't get to see everyone.
Oh.
Because there was so much love, there was so much support. I really felt that. I mean, I literally gasped in my, you know, when I saw your social post with, like, you know, a group of like 6 of some of our old friends who we literally grew up with, and there y'all all were. Wearing my T-shirt in the middle of the lobby, and I'm like,
it's my new favorite T-shirt.
Crazy. But I didn't get to see everyone, and you know, it's obvious. I know people understand and all that, but for me, it's hard that I didn't get to see them. I really felt the love and all the things, and I feel like that happens with. You know, with a lot of people, even you're not doing a concert, you know, everybody doesn't do concerts, I know, but even in their own lives and their own professions, like, you know, if there's a big event of some sort, you've worked hard to do something or like whatever it is, and you don't get to see everyone who comes to the event or who comes to, you know, whatever outing is happening for work or for life. And so it's something, you know, I'm like, oh man, but I felt the love.
You know what though? I this is not my gripe, but my gripe is if friends don't understand that you can't see them, because, you know, first of all, you did 2 shows. So Michael did 2 like full out where he was again singing his face off. Like it was unbelievable. He did 2 shows in one day. And I was at the matinee.
Yes.
And, you know, your husband, Jeremy, was, I'm so glad he did this. He said, no, you can't see anyone between shows. You had to rest your voice. You had to rest your energy,
Yeah.
you know, because this show was massive. And I became protective too, as people were like, are you going to see Michael? Are you going to see Michael? And I'm like, no, he has a second show to do. And so people need to understand that. You know, it's like sometimes in situations like that, that's not the time to be like, well, we got to go catch up. No, actually send someone a message
Yeah.
and say, hey, next time you're in town, I would really love to catch up and gush about how great you were at the concert.
Yeah.
And so I think that is a good kind of social etiquette lesson.
Yeah, yeah.
Of, you know, you're showing you're being a hype friend by showing up, but you can also be a hype friend by saying, you know what, like, I'm not even going to bother him after the show because, you know, the entire city was there to see you. You could not have seen everyone that came to see you. So
yes. Well, that, yeah. Yeah.
so yeah,
That's a good one.
I have a gripe if people don't understand that.
Yeah.
But my gripe is actually, this is kind of random. This is
Okay.
off the wall, but this
Okay.
just happened to me, and because you've shared your what do you call it, planography, like
Oh.
choreography on a plane.
Yes.
You know, you and I travel a lot.
Yes.
And you know, I feel like we're in the summer season. People are traveling a
Yep.
lot more.
Yep.
And I feel like there's a lot of social etiquette on a plane that you know we need to talk about. and also everyone's different. So I'm a very friendly person.
Yes.
Very
you are.
friendly. I love to chat with people. I mean, you see me at a convention, like you can't get me to stop chatting.
No, we have to peel you away.
Yes. Yes, I love chit-chatting. But I'm kind of a different person on a plane. Because actually when I fly, that's where I catch up on my sleep.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of turn off.
Yeah.
You know, not everyone is up here all the
Yes.
time. You know, we have to flip our switch and we have to turn off. And so I was flying home the other day. I was taking a red eye,
Oh.
which I was already tired, and I was set up. I was getting ready to, you know, to go to sleep, and you know, I was waiting until we were pulling, you know, taking
Yep.
off, but I was ready to go. And this guy sits down next to me, and first of all, I will say he had a couple of adult beverages, and you know, I always am polite and I say hello to my seatmate.
Yep.
But I'm on my phone. Like I am not.
Right. You're not engaging.
I'm not engaged.
Right. Yes.
You know, I had a pleasant, you know, exchange pleasantries. I'm back on my phone trying to wind down so I can go to sleep. Well, he starts in with the questions. Now, if it was my husband, he like gets really uncomfortable, but like he will keep engaging until that person, you know, stops talking or doesn't. Like my poor husband,
Why is that so funny?
I know.
to me?
Well, because David's not a talker, but if somebody talks to him on the plane, like he just gets really uncomfortable and he'll talk to them the whole flight. Versus me, I don't want to talk. I want to go to sleep. And so this guy is like talking. He's a talker. I'm like being polite, but I'm giving one word answers.
Yes.
And so I'm thinking, okay, it's going to naturally wind down. Oh no, he like kept going in. And so he asked, you know, what I did. And
Did you make up something? Because I would have made up something.
well, I didn't even have the brain power at that point. I said, well, I do a lot of things, which is true. And he goes, well, that's vague. Why aren't you telling me the answer? And I was like, oh,
Absolutely not. No.
So he kept pressing, and finally I did something that made me very uncomfortable. I looked at him and I said, I'm so sorry. I'm looking forward to sleeping on this flight. I'm not here to chit chat.
You did?
I did. Can you believe that?
I good for you. I think that's actually hard for people to do.
Well, and I didn't say it rude. I realized like I'm going to have to set a boundary right now, and it makes me uncomfortable, but he was making me uncomfortable and I just wanted to sleep, so I was like, "You know what? I'm going to say I need to sleep and I'm not wanting to chit-chat." And he did. He stopped. So I know, but my gripe is of like, you got to pick up on social cues because
Yes.
I gave so many social cues and he wasn't going to stop. So I had to verbally say, can we please stop?
Sir.
But I was so uncomfortable, but it worked and he stopped and I slept and it was fine. But yeah, that's my gripe.
Let's get into some
Okay.
good gossip.
Okay, so
What you
I
got?
have a good gossip story today. So
The good gossip.
yeah, the good gossip. See, I still
Oh my God, I just choked. I almost choked.
I think I sound like
You're still giving me
sexy,
Delilah.
but the good gossip. Did that sound a little better? Okay.
Like the stress on gossip is quite a situation. Okay, what's your
Okay.
good gossip?
So, speaking of just our hometown roots, I feel like we're really bringing it back to our
Yes.
hometown today. I had the privilege to speak at a pep rally at my old middle school.
Oh.
Yes, Southwest Middle School.
Southwest Middle School.
Shouting it out to Southwest Middle School.
Oh my gosh.
So I was reconnected with Southwest Middle School. It was like 2021. Actually, it was 2021 because it was the week of my 40th birthday, and I had the opportunity to go and visit the school, and it was just in the middle of COVID. You know,
Yeah.
schools were back in session here in Florida, but it was just really in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, the school it was a tough time back in 2021. The kids and the teachers, we were all in our own way going through it
Yeah.
at that time. And I just remember how difficult it was for everyone. They were happy to be back in person, but there was a lot of emotion, a lot of emotion, a lot of fights at the school.
Mhm.
And I remember how sad I was, them telling me how common that was. And I think that's just a testament of the time that
Yeah.
we were living in.
Yeah.
Everyone had all of these emotions after what we had been through in 2020. But luckily I've stayed in touch and I've had the chance to go back a couple times. And shout out to Miss Margima. She's the drama teacher at Southwest Middle
Hi, Miss
School.
Margina.
Yes, Margima.
Margima. Just loud and wrong. Margima. Hi, Miss Margima.
Well, I got my start as an actress at Southwest Middle School,
Yeah.
literally in the drama club. And so she just is so lovely and continues to bring me back for, to see the plays and talk to the students. Well, she sent me a message and she said, we got a new principal. And he's completely turned the school around. His name is Principal Rosado. And she's like, I want you to come and meet him. And he encourages students to come back. And, he's just really making an impression on the school. So this was last year. Now, fast forward to this year, to the pep rally. And I show up, and Michael, I kid you not, the entire school was in the gym having the most amazing electric pep rally. And they even said, back in 2021, we couldn't have done this. The kids couldn't have been, peaceful
Yeah.
in the gym together. And Principal Rosado was there. The kids love him. The teachers love him, and he's completely turned the school around.
Wow.
The ratings of the school have just skyrocketed. The teachers are happy. The kids are happy. He's encouraging clubs and teachers to have their own, just to do what they want to do. Field trips. He's encouraging as many field
Wow.
trips as possible. He's encouraging the arts. He wants the arts to have a place in the school.
Oh.
And, I just have to shout out not only to Principal Rosado and Mrs. Marjama, but also just to teachers. You shouted out teachers in your concert, which I thought
Yes.
was amazing, which gave me the idea to share this good gossip story. But, oftentimes we don't hear about all the good stuff that's happening in schools. We hear about what's wrong with schools or test scores or ratings. But what about the heroes, the real life superheroes?
Yes.
That are teachers and educators and principals that are working so hard every day and giving their heart, giving their everything. Principal Rosado was telling me how much he does out of his own pocket for the school, how much he advocates and fights for his teachers and students. And so that is my good gossip today. That's what I'm shouting out. And I feel like we need to just, constantly applaud and bring up all the good things, all the positive that people in our education system are doing, because they're working so hard and they deserve our praise.
Yes. Cheers to that.
Cheers
I love that.
to
yes.
that.
Yes.
Yes.
That's some good gossip.
Yes.
Okay.
right.
Well, I feel like I say this every time because I'm so excited about our guests.
Oh, I'm so excited about our guest.
I feel like I say it every time, but I just, we got some fun people in our orbit
Yes.
and our community, in our neighborhood, and so I'm really excited about this guest who we both love,
We
and
love him.
and you will love him too. Okay, so let's
do
it.
this.
Let's get
Let's
him in.
do this.
Okay, all right, y'all. So today's guest is a powerhouse performer known for his dynamic voice and charismatic stage presence. He rose to national prominence as a finalist on American Idol, and then went on to star as the original Tarzan in Disney's Tarzan on Broadway. He's also been featured as a headliner on the Las Vegas Strip and has made numerous appearances on television and in concerts around the globe. Whether it is on stage or in the studio, he brings passion, talent, and an unapologetic lightning bolt of energy. And that is
Yes.
for real
For
and true.
real.
Please welcome to the Hype Hood, a true ultimate hype friend, Josh Strickland!
Hey, everybody. I am so excited. Say more about me. No, I'm just kidding. I am so happy to be with you guys.
Oh,
We're so happy to
so
see you, happy to have you a part. I mean, obviously.
Obviously.
We needed to have Joshy.
Michael, when we first started talking about HypeFriend,
Yeah.
like in the very beginning, and we were like, oh, what are we going to do? Who are we going to have on? And we were building our neighborhood,
Yep.
and we were like, who do we want a part of our Hype Hood? And instantly we're like, Josh Strickland.
Josh Strickland.
Well,
Josh
thank you. I am the Tasmanian devil, honey. You better batten down the hatches. I'm coming through this neighborhood hot and heavy.
Well, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into all the things. But I have to tell you, when we were, as we're building our neighborhood and talking about how we both know you, Josh, which Michael's known you a lot longer. I feel like I'm newer to the friend group, but just as passionate.
Yes.
I am a
100%.
passionate Josh Strickland fan and friend. But I remember when I got a birthday message from you and you were singing me happy birthday, I was like, oh, he's my friend.
Because Josh Strickland's birthday messages are epic.
Well, thank you. There's this whole thing that people like to post and do a little something on the gram or, Facebook. But I don't know. I like to send a little personalized little message. I think it's kind of fun.
Well, we love it. We love
Well,
it.
thank you.
We also, you know what else we love right now is this whole setup. You're giving us like a full situation. You're giving us
Thank
a cowboy
you.
hat. You're giving us.
Yeehaw, baby.
Oh,
I need to know what state this neighborhood frienderhood is at. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it could be in Texas. Picket fences and cows.
we, we,
No, but
on the road. Our neighborhood it travels.
exactly, honey, on Route 66.
Hey, on Route 66.
this is honestly what it's like with Josh. We're always laughing. And
Oh my gosh.
you know, I have to say I feel so honored to know you. And I met you through Michael and
Yeah.
Ashley Brown and y'all. What's your origin story?
Oh gosh.
Well, I mean, I think that it's obviously we know Michael and Ashley. They've known each other since middle school and like since they were born. But it is interesting because then I only kind of came in because when I started doing Tarzan on Broadway, that's when I met Ashley. And then that's kind of Michael has been on Broadway since he was 2. So, I mean, but I'm saying he has been in the Broadway community for a very long time. And so then I just kind of started to get to know Michael and through like Jen Gambatese and people who were in Tarzan on Broadway as well, because he worked with them in different shows too. So
And we had a lot of mutual friends in the community, and you know, end up at the same parties, end up at the same you know events and all the things. And then I came into Tarzan literally as it was closing.
like literally like a month before.
Wait, I didn't know you were in Tarzan.
Yes,
Yes.
we were like so crazy, like the most ridiculous. Yes,
What?
yes, and
Oh my gosh.
and it was so fast, and I actually remember Josh being like, I was like, Josh, I'm coming in, and he was like, oh, wow, like you know, of course, the whole thing, and I got to see him live in his role. I mean, I had seen it, but I got to be a part of it and actually see it up close and personal from the stage, which was just ridiculous. And we literally got our closing notice. I think I got
On your put-in.
It was like, yeah, I think it was my put-in.
It was like, welcome to the show, Michael. Your last check will be next Tuesday.
Hashtag Broadway.
Hashtag welcome to Broadway.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the craziest thing. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we kind of go back. We go back into the community, which is amazing, and we've been able to, you know, be friends all these years, and
obviously Michael and I, we just do not have the same like light and fun and personality. So we just, you know, opposites attract.
oh my gosh.
But I think that's also what helps is because we have that energy for life, that energy for like friends and love and community, and that's what's kind of fun to have in your friendship group is people who actually care. That's what I love about what you guys are doing with this podcast, is that the HypeFriend is because it is about that. It's about like, you know, supporting and being there for your friends.
So do y'all remember when you and Ashley met? Like, Ashley, do you remember when you met Josh? Like, how did that come about?
Well, I think it was at a D23.
You know what? Yes, it was at D23.
Yeah.
And it might have even been when you and I reconnected.
Around that time.
And Ashley Brown was there too.
Yeah.
And it was super quick. Like, it was just like a meeting backstage.
Yeah.
You know, hi, nice to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, Josh. That was the first time.
You and Brett were doing something. I think
Yes.
that's what it was. And we came backstage to say hi.
D23, for all of you, all of our community out there who may not know what D23 is like basically the fan extravaganza, like Comic-Con for Disney fans.
All things Disney.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
It's the ultimate Disney fan club. And so yeah, we were at D23 Expo, and then fast forward to Festival of the Arts. And I think you were doing a show, was it with Ashley? I think. And you were staying at the Riviera.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be there. eating with Brett, and you and Ashley were there,
Yeah.
and we chatted a little bit more.
Yeah.
But our friendship, I feel like, was a little bit of a slow burn
Yeah.
because we met, and I was like, that Josh, he's so nice. But I have to be honest. I was so intimidated by you, not in a bad way, like not that you weren't welcoming, but your talent.
That
Like
talent.
That's
Josh,
sweet. Thank
I
you.
mean, you literally have, and I tell you this all the time, you have a voice of an angel.
Oh,
It's
thank you.
just unbelievable.
It
And
is certainly a gift, that's for sure. I don't.
Yes, I've said this many. Josh Strickland has one of the best tenor male voices. Period.
Oh,
period,
thank
Like,
you. Thank you.
period.
period.
You know, I'm more of an alto. Well, it's funny because I always kind of grew up like with a high voice, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's gonna change when he hits puberty and all this stuff," and it just never dropped. So it just keeps going up.
Well, it is truly a gift.
But
from
I
God.
appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, it
I
is.
I just I would sit and I would watch you in awe. And
thank
then I was starstruck, to be honest, whenever I would meet you. And so the thought of us becoming friends, like I almost had to like somehow act normal around you because I'm like, how do I act normal around Josh Strickland? Like he's so good.
But isn't that funny? I feel like that happens with everybody because, again, like, come on, Ash, don't, display what you be gotten going on, okay? So, like, that's the thing, too, is that, like, unbeknownst to all of us, like, we're just kind of, like, in awe of each other's gifts and each
Yes.
other's talents, which I think is just, it's so fun because each one of us brings something different to the world, and it's just, that's what it's all about.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of that, then, like, just sort of like making a friend and that sort of thing, like, or just in friendship for you,
Right.
it's a big question, but like,
Yeah.
what is friendship to Josh Strickland?
Friendship. My goodness. I think that it can come in all shapes and sizes because there's not just one thing that fits every friendship. And so I think friendships are ever changing. I think we can learn from each friendship as well, but I think friendship to me is being able to lean on someone in time of need or in time of loss or confusion, being able to call on somebody, to text somebody, and just be able to tell that other person what you're going through and them listening, because I think that sometimes there are a lot of the one-sided friendships that I'm sure we all have had in our lives before, and they just don't go anywhere because you can't get to a deeper level with that person and get to a point where that whenever something is up or wrong, that you can text or call them and they are going to pick up, because that's really important. And I hope and I try to do that for my friends as well, because in the world of social media and in the world of our phones and everything now, we have a lot of distractions. And I think sometimes I miss being able to go knock on my friend's door down the street, or just pick up the landline and it ring and mom and daddy pick up and say, "Hey, can I talk to Charlie?" It's just like I just miss kind of sometimes that time. But hey, we still do have the positive side of it where you can FaceTime and you can, chat and at any moment's notice anywhere in the world. And I think that also helps with keeping a friendship alive.
So I have to say how our friendship went from me being in awe of you to I feel like a true genuine friendship is it was really because of you, Josh, because when we would see each other in very busy times, the member cruise and Disney Vacation Club member cruise and Festival of the Arts, when you have so many things going on and you could be so distracted. But you always went out of your way to just like make sure that you saw me. Like, hey, how are you? Hey,
Yeah.
can we take some time
Well,
to go on a
thanks.
walk? Hey, just checking in on you. And that's when I realized I was like, oh my gosh, like he really wants to be my friend. This is not
Right.
just a Disney acquaintance. Like he wants to be my friend.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, who doesn't want to be your friend, Josh
Oh,
Strickland? But it's like, as
stop.
soon as I realized that, there's a genuine connection here, I feel like it was off to the races.
Yeah. That's very Josh. Like
Yeah.
Josh will make you feel seen. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
he always makes it it makes it a priority
Well, thank you.
to see you and to like check in the midst of full craziness.
Yes.
Like in the midst of full craziness, he will.
Yeah, I think that where that comes from is, and this is maybe a segue, but it's kind of, growing up and like sometimes not fitting in or not like having the best of friends, call on you or say hey or check in. And I think that that's just one of the things is I know how that feels. I think a lot of us have gone through things in our lives that make us feel, less than or put aside. But I think that it helps my mental capacity to say, you know what, I don't want that person to feel unseen. I don't want that person to feel unloved or, that they are not important. So I think that that's where it's a trigger for me, that it's kind of like, I want to do that for somebody else. I want to make sure that, and it's a genuine thing. It's not because I feel like I have to do it. It's because I really want to do it. And that because you guys are like my close friends, I want to make sure that, hey, are you good? How's everything going? I mean, it's a genuine thing, but, it's, thank you for those kind words.
No, I mean, we've talked about on here how friendship is a practice.
Yes.
And, it's something that you have to work at. It's something that you have to do. It's
Yeah.
not something that just happens.
No.
And, the fact that you specifically, you make sure friendship is a practice. And, you treat others as you want to be treated.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
can you expect to have the friendship that you want to have if you don't give it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like you didn't even, I feel like, Josh, I feel like you don't even, for you, the practice of it you've been doing that subconsciously since you were little.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
really, really little, which is, it feels like it's just such a part of his being,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you kind of started to talk about that as you were coming up, right? And as you were growing
Mhm.
up, and where how did that feel in terms of it when you really break it down, it really was a practice for you. So
Yeah.
how did that come about? And was that something that you were taught? Did you feel like you were taught at home? Or is that something that it just came out of you?
Well, I think that, for those listening, I was adopted, and I was adopted from birth. So, I didn't really know my birth mother. I met her later in life. Excuse me. But I think that growing up as an adopted child, didn't find out until I was really in the fourth grade. And
Isn't
at
that
that
amazing?
point, yeah. And
Wow.
at that point, you don't really know what that means. Your mom and dad sit you down and they're like, so you're adopted. What that means is that mommy didn't carry you and another mommy had you, but we got you. So it's like a simple little thing. And then I'm like, okay, just like, can I get another toy? It's just like one of those things. You don't consciously, like, I'm not like intellectually thinking about what that means. And then later on, I would start to kind of make fun of it in elementary school. You're like, I was found on aisle 5, the cookie aisle. It's just like, I really would say that to kids at school because I was like,
Oh my.
because everybody would be like, you look like your mom. Oh my gosh, you have these features. And I'm like, no, I don't, because I'm adopted. And I was found at Piggly Wiggly on the cookie aisle. Like, it is just, I made a joke out of it. But then later, as you start to grow up and really understand what that means, it is an interesting thing. It's an interesting feeling for an adopted child to feel the questions, the feeling unwanted,
Mm.
feeling like cast aside. Because when you think about it, you're like, well, why did she give me up? Like, why did that happen? And was it my fault? But then I think about it and I'm like, but I was just an infant. Like, of course it's not my fault. Something else happened that made her feel like she needed to do this for herself. And I'm beyond thankful that she did. Like, it's really awesome that, you know, I don't know, that she gave me a blessing. You know, she, after I met her and found out how hard her life was, my birth mother, then it truly was a moment that I was like, you know what? This was a gift from God, that like I didn't grow up in a place that was hard. I mean, there are people that are in a hard space right now, and my heart goes out to them and hope that they find a better place. But there is a moment where you're just thanking God for the life and the parents that he gave me. You know what I mean? Because it's really, it could have gone a different way. I probably wouldn't be sitting here with you. I wouldn't be singing. I wouldn't be doing what I love to do in my passion. So it was a time to figure out like who I was as a person without knowing all of these pivotal information points. You know what I mean? Like what does she look like? Where did I get my voice from? You know, there was so much of this that just did not work out for her, but I'm hopeful that her life is different because we don't keep in touch. But you know, there is something that I'm just thankful. And I think that has taught me a lot of lessons of how somebody, or how I want to treat someone, and how, again, like we were talking back, like wanting somebody to feel seen and loved, because I do feel like just innately it just kind of happened for me because of all the emotions and everything that happened being adopted, and all of that I went through being adopted kid. I think that kind of goes hand in hand a little bit with the emotions and like how somebody else feels. And so I think about that a lot.
You know, one theme that comes up a lot in a lot of, you know, especially Disney movies, but especially Star Wars, is your found family.
Right.
And, you know, some people are blessed with a family that they're born into, but some people find their family not through blood,
Right.
you know, through whether it's adoption or whether it's just friendships, which is why
Exactly.
this is so important to talk about HypeFriend, because some people find their sense of belonging through a found family.
Right.
And you know, I've had the chance to meet your adoptive parents,
Yes.
and
Sarah and
I know,
Jimmy.
yes, and they're just wonderful, and you have such an incredible bond. So you know, what did they teach you about friendship?
Oh gosh. You know, Mom was a teacher for over 40 years as a physical education teacher. So I think that her, like, just embodiment of like what she did, she wanted the kids to have fun, and she was a teacher in elementary school. So I mean, she's got the, you know, little kids, and so like that's a pivotal moment in their lives to teach them kindness, teamwork, and all of those things. And so I think that watching her do that constantly and consistently for over 40 years really helped shape my decisions and how I want people to be, or a friend, to be a friend to. Dad, you know, he was like a salesman, so he wasn't really like around all the time, but it was, I would say I saw it more in family. So because like my mom is one of 10, but Dad's one of 7 as well. And so like
Big
my
fan.
dad, big families. And
Yes.
so like my dad's side though is so close. We are so close. And so like what I would see him bend over backwards and do anything for them. And like, I guess it's funny about like, we go back to, you know, I sing happy birthday to people. Well, Dad, it doesn't matter. He would always get a card. He would always handwrite a card, and he would always put a few dollars in there for any member of the family. And so, and sometimes he'd even draw little characters and say, you know, this is you, or this is us. And I think that that's truly what like those two things from both of them really helped shape like kindness, putting it forward. And like that the littlest thing can put a smile on somebody's face or change their day, you know. And I think that that's, you know, Dad passed just a few months ago, so there's like a little bit of that's like missing now, and at least for me. But I tried to like just remember what he did and carry that on. And I think that that's what I truly, just hope that I can be a light for in that same way.
Well, you are, and
Yes,
it
you
is,
are.
it is, you also have been so, I think what's amazing about your parents and you, what you've, knowing you as a good friend, truly you have embodied what I believe your parents to what they exude and everything
Right.
you're saying, because you literally are the friend that does all those things.
Well, thank you.
Like you are
Yeah.
that, like that
Yes,
is
you are.
absolutely and so that's an incredible legacy that will always be in your life and always a part of your light. I mean, because that
Right.
is what makes you Josh Strickland,
Well,
and
thank
why
you.
I believe you are so special on so
Yeah.
on,
Thank you so much.
on so many levels.
Oh my goodness,
He
sorry.
lives in
No,
you.
actually,
He lives in
you know
you.
what?
Where's makeup? Makeup.
Hey, this is a makeup-free episode, Josh.
Amen. Amen.
You know what though? I want to go back to that. First of all, no need to say sorry. All tears are good tears.
Yes.
There's no bad emotions.
Right.
It's what we do with them that matters. And so, if it's okay, I want to go back to it because, we've all been with you. Unfortunately, mostly virtually. The past several months after your dad's passed away.
Yeah.
But our hearts are with you, and you've allowed us to be because you've been so open. You've
Yes.
been so open about your grief.
Yeah.
And that's tough because I think when something like someone passes or something tragic happens, oftentimes friends don't know what to do for you. They
Right.
don't
Right.
know how to help you. So I thought I'd love to ask you about grief. Like, what have you learned? What have friends done that have helped you?
Right.
What do you wish friends would have done? Um, yeah. What have you learned?
So I think that I've never lost anybody because I'm the only child, so I've never lost anybody that's close to me. I mean, obviously grandparents or uncles and aunts, but when there's somebody that like immediate in your family that you lose, it was new and fresh. And so, like, to be honest, being the only child also catapulted me into like, okay, we have to take care of things, like I have to be there for mom because now she might not know how to facilitate where to go next. And so I think that there was a moment in the moments right after him, like about a month or so after he passed, where I wasn't allowing myself really to feel and to grieve because I was worried about other things for mom. And after that, and she's such a strong woman, like she didn't need my help at all, but I just wanted to, at least be there for her, obviously.
She needed you.
She needed,
Oh,
yeah, she did.
She
She
did.
did. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
as far as like me thinking, oh, I have to do this for her or do that
Yeah.
for her. I think she just needed my presence.
mhm.
Yes.
And so we did that for each other. And I think that once I allowed myself to grieve, like the heaviness that I was feeling, my friends stepped in and stepped up and checked in. And I think that that is, again, so important to just when, like we were saying at the very beginning, like when something happens to somebody, one of our friends, to just reach out and just to say, I'm there for you, and
Mhm.
I think that it goes beyond anything else because like I sometimes can't even explain it. I can't even understand myself how I'm feeling. I just know there's this emptiness, and so it's in this loss. And so I feel like through this grieving, I definitely have felt my friends. Do you know what I mean? And I think that is truly all you can do for someone. I mean, just the smallest thing of a text or a voice memo or anything, it truly is just because maybe I can't receive it in that exact moment, but I can receive it when my body and my brain are ready to receive it. Like I have to cry and receive that, and then that is what helps me get out of it. It helps me get out of that grief that's so heavy. And like you said, crying is okay. And I think that
Mhm.
that's the thing that I've had to learn as well, is that in these moments of sadness, because it comes in waves. Like that is truly what it is, because there's happiness, there's like happy times that I'm like, oh my gosh, Dad would have loved that, and I don't feel sad about it, but then there's these moments of just heaviness, of like he's missing, he's no longer here earthly, and so it's his presence that's missed. And I think that that's the sad part for us humans down here on earth, because
Yeah.
we're the ones that are sad. They're not sad, so they're happy. They are somewhere else better. They're in a better place. And I think that the good thing to remind oneself is, I think that that's what's so wonderful about faith, is that like having that knowledge and that faith to know that I will see him again in some way or fashion is so comforting. And
Mm.
knowing that like I will hopefully get to hug him, because there's anybody, you can believe however you want to believe, whether there's a heaven, or there's just a place that everybody goes, or that they still are here in different ways. I think that it's just having a belief of something, and knowing that they're around us, and that they are here, and that they are still present, just in a different way, is really, really comforting.
Mm.
Amen to that.
Amen. Yes, that is comforting. Just
Yeah.
hearing you talk about that with the faith of it all is
Yeah.
beautiful.
I definitely believe that. Definitely believe that. And, again, I just have to applaud you for just being open. I think, anyone that's in the public eye, whether you want to or not, um, so many people watch you, and they see your posts, and they see how you're reacting.
Yeah.
And, so many people know you as Josh Strickland, the, over the top, out of this world, incredible performer. Um, but you're very real, and you've been very open and
Yeah.
honest about your grief, and that is real. That is genuine, like what we were talking about earlier. And
That's so
that's
genuine.
realistic. No one is ever one note.
Right.
It's like a song.
Yeah.
If a song was one note, that would be the most boring song
Oh,
ever.
Lord, don't we know it? But I think that's what, Ashley, that's what I love about like when you do Mental Health Mondays. I think that it's so incredible that, because I actually you're way better at being able to talk about it, like on social media, on that types of stuff. I'm not really like that. I'd like to try and do it more, but I think that it's so special how you let all of your guards go away, and you talk about what is going on with you in this moment, and how you can use that to help others. And I think that that is what is so incredible about you. And Michael, you are the same too. You use that joy and that love to reach through screens and social, and even in life, like when we're all together. That is what you exude. That's what you bring. Like, I know you just had your orchestral debut.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's the t-shirt.
Got the
Yes.
tea.
Oh my goodness. I need to grab me one of those. www.what? But I think that what's so cool is that I was seeing so many people's posts about how joyous that room was, and how joyous that concert was. And I think that that is what you exude, and that's what you give to the world. And you both give so many things. And I just think that it's so beautiful. I thank you for saying that I help others, but truly, I mean, like, what you do to motivate, or to just talk about things that maybe some people don't feel like talking about, and stripping away all of that, is so, so, so cool and so important. And I am
thank you,
so in
Ashley.
awe of
Thank
both of
you.
you.
Making friends, figuring out, all the things, and especially having been adopted, like it, how do you think it, like, maybe is there something that really sticks out to you, how it impacted your ability or your just the idea of making friends, right? And like coming into an adult for you, what have you learned, what have you noticed about those things and your journey specifically, with how you know have come up and how that
Well,
happened?
I think also being an only child catapults you into a craziness of having to like create your own world. um, because my parents, they both worked really hard and weren't really, when I wanted to play a game, they were like, play by yourself. I'm tired. But they would get board games out and everything like that. But it's just one of those things that I always leaned on my friends because that's it. They were like brothers and sisters to me because that's who I got to play with, or get to know or do things with. And so I think that it was being an only child and then later, finding out that the adoption thing truly was just kind of, it's molded me into a person that like, I kind of feel like wherever I go, I can make a friend or I can make, or try to at least make a bond with someone. They might not be lifelong friends, but in our business, we're all over the place. We're meeting new people all the time, and we're and some people you mesh with and some people you don't. But I mean, like, there is just something about me and specifically that I just think that I just really like to also feel at home for myself. So, I mean, like, I don't want to be lonely sometimes. So, like, whenever I am somewhere, I'd like to be with someone or meet someone. Or, my husband makes fun of me that, like, sometimes if he's at work or something like that, I may just go see a show by myself or go, sit at a bar and chit chat. I mean, like, just because that's just kind of how I am. I like to strike up conversation and meet new people. And so that's kind of molded who I am as a person, truly, because I'm just kind of like, it's that little kid, that little Josh, little bowl cut blondie that was like, hey, you want to play with me? It's just like, let's go.
The bowl
I
cut
mean,
blondie.
I think we all had a bowl cut at some point.
Oh,
Or some sort of version of it. But yeah, that's definitely molded me into, I think, the person that I am, because there were moments where I didn't have anybody to play with. So then I had to go and find a friend, and I had to go and I can't play Barbies on my own. So I mean, so it was one of those things that I just was really finding those people, that tribe to connect with and become friends.
I will say when it's time to go, like when it towards the end of a trip, like Josh is like, I do not want. He does not want it to end. First of all, like it is
I
not.
know.
Like, it is not a thing for like. It is absolutely imperative that we like stay. Like the last night, is going to be a late
late night.
because Josh, she is like,
I don't like to say
no.
goodbye. Like, I
no.
really don't. Like, there's something about it. I think and my mom said, you were always like this as a kid. Like, summer camps, anything like that we would go away and like, it would be over at the end of the week. And I would just go into this deep, like, sadness, depression after it, because I missed it. I missed the people. I missed,
Yeah.
it wasn't necessarily like, oh, I loved like making a spaceship out of paper. Like, that wasn't what I missed. But I mean, it was, I missed the connection. I
Yes.
missed like the people. So yeah.
But that's actually why we're doing this podcast as well, to stress the importance of connection.
Right.
And, yes, social media technology is fantastic to send messages because we need that connection in the meantime. But coming together or just simply hanging out with someone in person,
Yes.
we are social beings. We need that connection.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, one of my favorite friendship stories of all time, and to be honest, I look back and it's still surreal. Josh posted that he was reprising his role as Tarzan
Yes.
at Tuacahn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right? Tuacahn?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. Tuacahn.
so at Tuacahn, and I didn't get the chance to see Josh as Tarzan on Broadway, and so when he posted it, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta go. Well, simultaneously, I get a DM from Jodie Benson, which still I find surreal.
I know.
I think we all do. To be
Yes.
like,
Yes.
Yes.
are we friends with Jodie Benson?
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Like totally.
Right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
trust me, I don't say that as like a name drop thing. Like
Right.
even I find disbelief in it.
Same.
So, but Jodie Benson sends me a DM and she says, "Oh my gosh, we have to go see Josh in Tarzan." And I was like, "For real?" I was just telling my husband that. No, I'm in. I'm going. Okay, what did the young kids say when it finally leaves the group chat? What did they say when the plans exit the group chat and it actually happens?
Yeah.
So
Ooh, girl, I don't know.
Oh gosh.
I know. Wow, we just dated ourselves.
Oh,
We're
we
old.
sure did.
We're old.
I feel like this happens at least once in every episode.
I know.
Dang it.
Well, the young kids say
On
When the-
TikTok.
when the plans exit the group chat. So basically, I was like, okay, well, we're going. So I book my trip because
Yeah.
this is in Utah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I messaged Jody and I was like, hey, my husband and I are going. And she's like, okay, I'm going to book my trip.
Yep.
Next thing you know, like flights are booked and, plans are made and we're going to Utah. So my husband and I pick Jody up from the airport and we drive to, Josh was so kind to set us up at a hotel right by the theater. And here we are for no other reason than just to cheer on our friend. And we had like an epic couple of days.
Yes,
Oh.
and it was so special that you guys even made that trip because, honey, Utah's hard to get to in the middle of the desert. You know what I mean? Like, it is planes, trains, automobiles, and riding on the back of a lizard. So, I mean, like, it is one of those things where it's not easy to get to, but once you're there, it's so beautiful. But it was so, I was so thankful, and we had such a wonderful time. We got to do some walks out in the beautiful Red Rocks and just chat and enjoy each other's company. And that's truly what it's all about. I mean, like, I think that doing these impromptu trips with your friends truly just like bring so much joy to the friendship, but also just it makes you realize that life is too short not to take the opportunity to get out there and to just enjoy it.
What would you tell? Because there's so many, people who have been adopted, who have been, that journey, right? And you, especially with like, wanting to not wanting to leave, and like how you work through that. Like, what would you tell them? What would you tell them how you get through that? How you have been getting through that journey for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that what was a really special moment was when we were doing Holly's World. They helped me facilitate meeting my birth mother. And because it was a closed adoption, we didn't know anything. So private investigators came and we found out all this stuff. And she was willing to meet. And it's a beautiful episode, it turned out. And it was cool because it was a door closed. It was a full circle moment that all of those questions that I had, were now answered. And I saw why she gave me up for adoption, and I understood it because I was I was in my late 20s at that time, so I got it, and I think that I just had questions I wanted to ask her. And my mom, my adopted mother, Sarah, she was just like, all I wanted to do was hug her neck and thank her for giving me you and giving me that baby that I so desperately wanted. And it was a beautiful moment between two mothers that knew that both were making sacrifices for whatever their journey was, and I think that that's what was so eye-opening and so beautiful to watch. The reason why I bring that up is because like people watched it, and there's so many people that have reached out, and actually now, because that was a long time ago, but like, we've got the Tubies and all the free TV that, these shows are still on. So even some people recently are like, I watched the adopted mother episode with you meeting your birth mother, and I just have to say that I was adopted, and it really helped me, like figure out those emotions and find out maybe I do want to meet my birth mother, because I think that that's what a lot of adopted kids feel, is a lot of them don't know who their birth mothers or birth fathers are. So it is one of those things where if you are feeling lonely or those questions that you need answered, it's all you can do is reach out. All you can do is do the work to see if that's an option for you, And I think that it really is therapeutic. I think that it's wonderful to be able to find those answers, and whether they be good or not, I think that that's life, and we have to be prepared for whatever those may be. But it's the fact that now we have that full circle door closed moment, that like, okay, I don't have these questions anymore. I can actually say, I've met her. I know now why, and I'm happy and I'm good with that answer. I think that that's what helps one move on. And so I think that, for the adoption story and people out there, it truly is, you have to follow your heart and follow what emotionally you are feeling, because if it's sadness that you're feeling, then maybe you do need to reach out and find those answers, because it truly is, it's helpful. It really is.
Well, Josh, thank you for being so open with us today. Thank you for your time today. This is the first of many times we're going to ask you, because you're part of our Hype Hood now.
Yes. Tasmanian devils coming for you.
Hey.
Yes. Yes. But I just want to take just the last moment to hype you up.
Yes.
And because I think one last thing, one takeaway that you've taught me from this episode is, no matter what journey someone is on, because we're all on our own journey, to show up for your friends. And, in order to, it's almost like you have to manifest the type of friends that you want in your life. If you want this type of friends, then you have to be that friend too. You treat others as you want to be treated. And you do that. Not only do you talk the talk, but you walk the walk. You show up for your friends. You're there for us. We feel so blessed to call you our friend. And you set an example for all of us to follow. So thank you. Thank you for being the best hype friend.
Well, you guys, you are the OG Hype Friends, and you are spreading that joy and that love through everything that you do. So I'm just thankful and proud to be a Hype Friend along with you guys.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We love you, Josh.
I love you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. He's amazing.
He's so amazing. I'm so glad we got to finally have him on.
What is even happening with my hair? I'm on no makeup. My hair is now creased. For those that are listening, you're like, wow, what is she talking about? But for those that are watching, you know what? Some days it is.
Honey, you're still giving. Come on now. I love that one last thing. I really love that in terms of just showing up. That's the perfect. That is such a I feel like a Josh Strickland of it all. Like, I just love that for us to kind of remember. It's a great one last thing.
It really is, and he's the perfect example of it. You, in many ways, you have to manifest the type of friends that you want.
Yeah.
How do you expect to have like these great friendships if you don't also give it?
Yeah.
And Josh gives it.
Yes.
And it makes you want to be a great friend to him because he's giving you so much.
Absolutely. I mean, you showed up for me.
I know.
Speaking of that,
sometimes
oh my gosh.
You gotta just show up and you gotta wear the t-shirt. And I'm gonna wear this t-shirt everywhere. But definitely show up for your friends.
Yeah.
Think about it this week. What can you do this week? How can you show up for your friends? It's really important. And sometimes, honestly, you never know. Like Josh said, when those messages sometimes, or when you show up for someone, it might mean more to them than you even realize. You know, those messages that people sent him after his dad passed away.
Yeah.
You know, they were there for him when he was grieving and he needed it. So
Exactly.
you just show up.
I love it. This was awesome. It was so good. Thank y'all for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Michael, I think we need to go grab lunch now, and
Okay.
I'm going to wear this t-shirt. And when we go into the restaurant, I'm just going to be like, I'm going to point. Just just sit like this at the restaurant and point to your face.
And I'll be eating my lemon love Eckstein pudding.
Lemon love. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is going off the rails. I'm Ashley Eckstein.
I'm Michael James Scott.
And always remember,
be a hype friend.
the hype starts with you. Cheers
Cheers.
to
darling.
that.